Not everyone can handle horror movies, much less Diego Colon. The disfigurements, the gore, and the jump scares are enough to make anyone shake in their boots. However, the owner of this channel has decided to conquer this discomfort rather than run from it. And what better way to do so than to expose himself to it all? Over the next few weeks, you will watch him dive headfirst into the murky genre we call horror. He will be exploring all 50 films in this classic horror DVD box set. I am merely here to escort you to him. I know this may seem trivial, but believe me when I say, this might be the most frightening task he has ever accomplished. In the world of movies, that is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the silver screen!
Here's how it's going to work. In each episode, I will watch and talk about 5 of the movies in this box set. I will talk about the plot and then my review. At the end of each segment, I will be rating them using the Letterboxd starring system. However, instead of stars, I will be using skulls, because of the spooky season, of course. Spoilers ahead, and without further ado, let's get started. Carnival of Souls opens abruptly with the main character Mary in a car with what I assume to be her friends. They get involved in a drag race with some random guys, which leads to their car accidentally falling off a bridge and into a river. After the police arrive and start searching the scene for the missing car, they find Mary discombobulated but alive. She is taken to safety, but the car or her friends are never found. Fast forward a bit, and Mary, an organ player by the way, packs up her life and moves to Utah. It's on the drive to a rooming house that she starts seeing visions of a tall, pale man with darkened eyes. This man is actually the director, Herc Harvey. Anyway, after a really cool transition, she ends up at the rooming house and picks up a gig playing the organ at a local church. Aside from a perverted neighbor who can't seem to take a hint, Mary's main problems are people telling her to re-enter society, the visions of the pasty white man, that's his name now, and an urge to go to an abandoned carnival. Things start to get weird once Mary has episodes where no one can see or hear her, and she can't hear anything else. While having one of these episodes, she conveniently encounters a doctor who tries to help her. This leads her to finally visit the carnival she's been drawn to. When she returns, her visions seem to get worse, causing her to get fired from her church job for playing quote-unquote demonic music. Mary eventually gets the idea to leave town once again, but before she can, she has one of the worst episodes she has had yet. Yes, it turns out to be just a dream, but it still leads her to go back to the abandoned carnival where the pasty white man and his ghoulish friends chase her around and eventually catch her. The police, the doctor, and the priest investigate only to not find her body. The final scene shows the car from the beginning of the movie finally being found in the river. Inside are Mary and her friends, dead. She was dead the whole time. Aside from the movie starting abruptly and the sound being almost impossible to hear at times, this was a very creepy movie. The idea of her soul being called back by death at any given moment is a bone-chilling premise. The sight of the pasty white man was terrifying, even at times when I knew it was coming. The camera work and lighting were very impressive for the time. Considering this movie had a $30,000 budget, I was surprised at how immersed I felt. As someone who hates the dark, being alone, and both at the same time, I would probably skip town too. I do like the multiple layers the plot takes on, with survival's guilt,
sexism, mental illness, and feeling isolated from society. I'm giving this movie 3.5 skulls out of 5. Would have been a 5 out of 5 if the pasty white man killed the incel neighbor, but we can't all be winners.
Before I start, I want to say that the original title for the film is way cooler than what we got. This movie comes from Italy, but it was dubbed in English. According to Beverly Cinema, the Italian title is Sedak, Heir of Satan, which is so cool. Anyway, the movie opens with the main character Jeanette at work. It's unclear if she's a singer or an erotic dancer given the letterbox and DVD descriptions give 2 different answers. Nevertheless, her boyfriend Pierre leaves her because she is choosing her work over him. This leads Jeanette to get in a bad car accident. This accident, which is low-key an explosion, leaves her with a scar on her neck. Everyone says she's horribly disfigured, when it's literally not that bad, in my opinion. But apparently it's life-ruining because she tries to kill herself with a pistol. Before she can, though, a woman named Monique stops her. She tells Jeanette of a way to fix her face. Monique is the assistant to one Professor Alberto Levin. Levin is your typical mad scientist with an assistant he's definitely smashed, Monique, and an Igor-like helper named Sasha. Jeanette comes to the house and Levin straight up falls in love with her, making Monique very jealous. The operation begins and it works. The scarring disappears. However, there is a catch. The scarring comes back if she is not constantly given treatment. The real tricky part is that the only way more treatment can be given rapidly is if it comes from a person. So, Levin convinces Monique to die so that Jeanette can be fixed. But that's not enough. He needs more life, so what does he do? He transforms himself into a monster and kills random women around town, duh! The town is blaming the attacks on like a gorilla. After he kills people, he changes back to his human form. While all of this is happening, Jeanette is getting bad vibes from the professor and Pierre is starting to realize his mistake of being a bad boyfriend. They try to meet up before the professor stops them and kidnaps Jeanette. Levin then proceeds to manipulate both Jeanette and Pierre into having them stay far apart from each other. Everything comes to a close when one of the professor's murder attempts goes sideways. Jeanette calls for Pierre to save her. Pierre and the professor fight. He reveals his monstrous self, and the garden house gets surrounded by cops. The movie ends with Sasha being the one that kills his abusive master, ending the monster then and there. Pierre and Jeanette walk off into the sunset together again.
This movie just straight up doesn't have a vampire in it. There's no bat transformations, no blood sucking, and definitely no capes. That's not a vampire. That's a goblin man. Okay, fine. Is the professor a monster that takes the life force of women for his own selfish needs? Yes. But that doesn't make you a vampire. That's like me learning how to use nunchucks, painting my face green, and calling myself a Ninja Turtle. That's not gonna fly, man. The script was kinda cool and unique, but I swear, parts of the plot straight up got forgotten. On top of all of that, it's not even scary. I'm giving this movie 2.5 skulls out of 5.
Creature from the Haunted Sea is your typical 60s movie. A group of crooks must help the old Cuban government escape with the country's gold supply. The team of crooks consists of Renzo, the mastermind, Mary Bell, Renzo's girlfriend, Happy Jack, Mary Bell's brother, and Pete Jr., the guy that makes animal noises. Because you need a guy that makes animal noises in a heist. Oh yeah, and then there is Sparks, the American spy. Also on board Renzo's ship are a general and a colonel of the old government, as well as a few Cuban soldiers. In order to make off with all the gold and give none to the Cubans, Renzo concocts a plan to kill a soldier and blame it on a mysterious sea monster. That way, the general will agree to changing the route and go somewhere Renzo wants to go. The plan goes slightly awry when an actual sea monster kills another soldier. The route is changed to an island off the coast of Puerto Rico. The new plan is to drop the box of gold in the ocean and go back for it. When they do, Renzo and his team continue killing Cubans and blaming it on the sea monster. The plan goes astray when the team learns of the real sea monster. Sparks gets away with his new Puerto Rican lover, the rest of the crew is killed by the sea monster, and that sea monster ends up with all the gold.
Creature from the Haunted Sea answers the bold question, what if everyone in a movie was stupid? Sparks, our supposed main character, is an utter buffoon to rival that of one Frank Drebin. On second thought, Frank is at least lovable in his goofs and gaffes. Sparks is a complete idiot and really bad at his job. Renzo's crew are as obnoxious as they are stupid. Renzo himself is wooded and lifeless, and the General and Colonel are no better. The best character in the movie is the sea monster, who does not have as much screen time as it deserves. The movie is not a horror movie, it's a comedy, and it knows it, because it lists itself as a comedy first. So why the hell is it in a horror movie box set? As a comedy, the movie is not funny. I would say it had one joke amongst the casual racism and sexism, but other than that, it fails at both genres. I'm giving this movie 1 skull out of 5.
Nightmare Castle, also called Night of the Doomed for some reason, centers around one Stephen Aerosmith. Dream on! Dream on! Dream on! A regular mad scientist. In the mansion he occupies lives his wife, Muriel, his aide, Solange, the gardener, David, and the butler, Jonathan. Stay with me on this one. Muriel is having an affair with David, but Stephen knows this due to his affair with Solange. So one night, Stephen catches his wife and the gardener in the act, tortures them both, and kills them. Not before we learn that it's Muriel who owns the house and has all the money, and that she rewrote her will. Now, her stepsister, Jenny, is to inherit the wealth. She also says,
if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly...
Wait, I'm sorry. I mean, she will come back and haunt Stephen if he kills her. He says, "No," and kills them both. Stephen takes their blood and hearts and saves them while cremating the bodies and using the ashes to fertilize his potted plant. He uses the blood to make Solange look younger. Enter Jenny, described in this movie as irresponsible and insane. Just like me for real. Stephen reveals that he has married Jenny and secretly admits he did it so that he can make her feel like she's going insane again, to which she will be sent back to a clinic and he will take all the money and the house for himself. So, he makes a concoction to give to her to cause her to hallucinate. Except, a mix-up happens and she is never given the hallucinogen. Nevertheless, she starts seeing visions and hearing voices of the ghost of Muriel. The hauntings continue, so Doctor and childhood friend of Jenny, Dr. Derek Joyce, comes to help her. It's clear that the minds of Jenny and Muriel are merging into one, so Jenny remembers the murder without ever being there. After some more haunting shenanigans, including Derek finding no body in Muriel's tomb, Derek and Jenny kiss for a bit before talking about escaping. Stephen comes in and gaslights the shit out of Jenny. This causes Derek to leave and for Jenny to be forced to give her blood to Solange. Derek comes back and unleashes the ghosts of Muriel and David. Those two kill Stephen and Solange and are about to kill Derek and Jenny when Derek throws their hearts into the fire, setting the spirits free. The nightmares are now over.
This movie was the most thrilling one so far. While no, I wasn't scared of it now, I can definitely see how it would be scary for people back then. The characters were so engaging to watch. The story was unique and captivating, and the shots were oh so beautiful. Lighting was utilized to its fullest, and it's clear that every single instance of shadow was narratively intentional. By the way, Jenny and Muriel are played by the same actor, Barbara Steele. This casting decision better executes the two minds melding into one. At any given moment, we can see either Muriel or Jenny talking, and we just have to sit in anticipation. I legit think I need memorabilia from this movie because I loved it so much. Plus, one of the lines in this movie is sampled in the Eminem song Godzilla.
You're a monster!
This movie was everything I was hoping to find in this box set. I'm giving this 5 skulls out of 5. This was so good. Go watch it.
Black Dragon centers around a group of industrialists getting killed by a mysterious Mr. Colombe. Days after a dinner party, 6 men get killed one by one. The FBI and undercover agents get involved. It is later discovered that each of the 6 men were Japanese spies disguising themselves as American businessmen. All 6 men belong to a group called the Black Dragons, a group in alliance with the Nazis. Their killer? The Nazi who performed the plastic surgery on the 6 men. After performing the surgeries, he was locked away in a Japanese prison to prevent the secret from getting out. He escaped and made his way to America to kill those who imprisoned him. In the end, they all die. Everyone dies. I'm not even kidding. Everyone dies.
This movie is a World War II propaganda thriller. The idea of plastic surgery and infiltration is a neat one, but it loses its excitement considering the racist implications. The idea of people who don't belong here infiltrating the American business world, which then in turn influences the American government, seems kind of yikes nowadays. I'm giving this movie 2.5 skulls out of 5. I hope you enjoyed this terrifying traverse through the history of cinema. I hope to see you again for the next episode of The Silver Screen.